What is not a religion, but people treat it with the same attention? Story 1. Obsession with a famous person or persons. Edit. For the people who are saying that it may have been the fake pic that someone else did, I did a little digging and found the picture she showed me again. It's the one on this article. I have a coworker who is obsessed with Harry Styles. She thought I was crazy for not knowing what tattoos he has because I'm a tattoo person. And she once was telling me about how hot he looks in the most recent picture of him released. She proceeded to show me the picture, and he was wearing a mask and sunglasses in it, so you couldn't even really see his face. And she was drooling over it. Mind you, this isn't some teenager I work with. She's 31. I can't stand people whose mind only goes one direction. You just put years of frustration into words which I couldn't think of, and it's a freaking joke. I love you. This sounds like a person I know. For some reason, she became obsessed with Harry Styles late last year and just posts non-stop about him on her social media. I nearly went out with her in 2020, but it didn't work out. Long story, honestly. I was sad, but that feeling quickly dissipated when I saw how obsessed she became. Especially when it goes to the point of somehow thinking it's okay to commit violence against that celebrity. We all know about Christina Grimmie, but how about Japanese pop idols? Mayu Tomita, who was stabbed dozens of times for not accepting a fan's gift? Ena Matsuoka, who was stalked and physically violated in front of her own home? 2 AKB48 members were attacked with a saw. Yes, a handsaw at a meet and greet event. Another NGT48, sister group of AKB48 member Maho Yamaguchi, was forced by her management to apologize for causing a disturbance to her fans when she was the one attacked by 2 stalkers outside her own home. The details of this is just downright disgusting, and on and on. Didn't want to use wiki links as references, but too many news sites need to register. A few months ago, I saw Olivia Wilde while trending. I thought, oh, she's hot, and I loved her in-house. I wonder why she's trending. And clicked. Never again. The guy she's dating has an absolutely bloodthirsty fan base who fracking hate everything she does. It's seriously disturbing what some of them put out. Yeah, they are nuts. So many fans can't handle the celebrity being in a relationship. So many female partners are accused of faking babies and human trafficking, all to either imagine the guy single or in a gay relationship with an ex-coworker they haven't seen in years. I once knew a guy who was like that about an A-list movie star, and he was depressed for days when she went out with a boyfriend. He was genuinely mad. So weird how people get attached to a public persona. Parasocial interaction. Basically, our brains don't understand that a person we see all the time isn't someone that we can interact with. Our brains are very caveman when it comes to social interactions. We're very, very wired to believe that we're part of a smallish group without whom we will not survive. When you think of it that way, a lot of human behavior starts making a lot of sense. I feel like stan culture has become insane. Years ago, it was said as a meme/joke, but really meant that you were just a big fan of an artist and knew a lot of facts and details about them in relation to their music or craft. Now, stan culture is more akin to the actual stan in the M song. People are creepily obsessed with celebrities, and sure, that type has always been around, but how they spam reply fan videos and poop on socials and have multiple accounts dedicated to an artist is just strange. Stan culture is not stronger now than before. Or it's now stronger now than before. When's the last time you saw a guy try to unalive a president because he believed it would get the attention of a famous actress? Look at the generations of Beatlemania. Or maybe it was not at the beginning. Look at the generation of Beatlemania. Didn't some chick attempt to mail herself to the Beatles? I'm kind of on the fence about this. I think a lot of things have been amplified by social media, but obsession with celebrity has been around for quite a long time, even before Beatlemania. I know there's always been parents reacting to kids just going nuts over some artist or movie star and wondering what the deal is. Story 2. Disney. Especially when you go down to Florida. You have no clue the power that cartoon mouse has. I'll never forget the story about a cast member who played Goofy who was told, "These two kids just saw their parents perish in a car crash. One or both were beheaded from the crash, and their kids saw it. We let them see the nightly Disney parade, and we're trying to get the Grand Marshal Mickey to meet specially with them." I don't remember the backstory on why they were at Disney. I think they were waiting for a family member or something, where they literally lost all they had and were waiting to figure out what to do with them. Kids were not injured at all. Guy who did what he could as Goofy to cheer them up, but they were still in shock. He said he had to leave for a bit, pull off his mask, and just start sobbing. Anyway, Mickey finally shows up, and I kid you not, the kids' faces lit up in excitement and happiness. That's the power of the mouse. Nowhere near as traumatic, like holy hell, but I beheld the power of the mouse before. Was working for Disney World at the college program, and there were announcements for the special extra ticket even that night, a pirate/princess party. The advertisements had pirates hamming it up and other such stuff. Really background noise for me at this point. Cleaning up an area, parents talking to their little kid who's crying, trying to calm him down. I come up and ask what's wrong, and it turns out they surprised him with the extra tickets they were going to this, but he was scared because the pirates were going to be there, and he went off on other little kid fears. Well, hell, some parents just pay an extra price for something a kid is absolutely terrified of doing, and there's no logic to it. So I go for my best superpower of BS. I crouched down and told the kid that in order to get into the Magic Kingdom, the pirates had to agree to a bargain created by Mickey that if they tried to do anything, they'd be magically cast out. The kid believed me and is now super excited to go to the event. I didn't even have a costume character there to back me up on this or anything. I was just a frackin' custodian sweeping up dropped fries, but I worked there and invoked the mouse's name, and whatever I said was law, apparently. Parents were delighted. I was frankly kind of freaked out. That's a great one. I love it. Good for you. We just went for my 7-year-old's birthday. First time for all 3 of us, and I really appreciated how kind and fun all the staff were. Okay, but really, I like Disney movies, but my goodness, some people are so obsessed. As someone who lives in the Disney area, I 100% agreed. I thought it was all glimmering when I didn't live here and hadn't been. Now I think otherwise. Looks like the mouse got them for the insolence. Shh, they'll hear you. Do you want to bring it here? We in the Sunshine State are proud to host the mouse. Join us. The mouse is the reason our economy flourishes. There is a resistance. The mouse is the reason we have joy in our lives. Help us resist. The mouse is love. We have nearly all the cast members now within our ranks. The mouse is family. We're nearly ready for the revolution. The mouse is life. We just need more snacks. Even in Arizona, it's a 6-hour drive, and I see Disney adults all the time. I go into 5 or 8 strangers' homes each day for my job. So much Mickey Mouse. I'm laughing here, imagining that you don't go into strangers' homes for your job, but just as a hobby. I think I like that part about this person invoking the mouse, telling the kid that the pirates had to make a deal that they wouldn't do anything. And I feel that that similar type of process happens when Disney deals with Ron DeSantis. Story 3. Certain sports. College football in Alabama for sure, especially the Auburn-Alabama rivalry. It ended marriages before. My favorite was when the Bama fan shot and unalived another Bama fan for not being sad enough about losing the Iron Bowl, or the Bama fan who poisoned the Oaks at Auburn and called into a sports radio station basically saying, "I did it and I'm glad I did. Roll damn Tide." He was a former police officer, too. He got beat up at a gas station near the courthouse in Opelika when he was on trial. According to the local police, the security camera footage from the gas station was accidentally deleted, so they never did find his assailant. I would argue that most professional sports are treated like religion. There's no England Premier League soccer this weekend because of the Queen's passing. All of my friends are bored and lost. SEC football is out of hand. College football in a lot of places, not just the South, though probably not the Northeast. I'm fascinated by the obsession with high school football in some areas. It's local football. It's biggest in places where people don't have access to higher level play. It's the biggest in Texas, which has access to every level of play imaginable. When I first moved to Tennessee, I was amused by the amount of orange everywhere. Hadn't lived anywhere else like it until I moved near the Georgia-Alabama border. I just realized I'm wearing orange. The college wars are absolutely insane down here. It's one of the first things people ask you when they meet you before they ask your name. What football team you support, what church you go to, and then your name. When I went to Tennessee, I was shocked by all the cars with volunteer stickers and flags. Not being a sports fan, I honestly thought Tennessee was just the friendliest and most helpful state ever. I've heard stories of non-Americans visiting the U.S. and being weirded out about the amount of American flags. I wonder what they'd think walking into Knoxville and it just being fluorescent orange, everything everywhere. There's probably an equal amount, if not more, UT flags. I can be visiting Arizona, and my eye will instantly catch the TNer purely because they can't leave the house not in orange. I'm an Aussie who went to a Vols game 20-plus years ago because I made friends with a guy from Knoxville when living in London. We're still friends. Had a great time. Still keep an eye on them, but they don't seem particularly great these days. Knoxville was a fun town. I drank a lot of beer, smoked a lot of pot, and got a hole-in-one playing frisbee golf. As a Florida fan can confirm, stuff's crazy, but sometimes it can be pretty damn fun. As someone who drove to Gainesville on Saturday to watch the game, the key word is sometimes. Soccer/football in Italy is basically the main religion, often more heartfelt than the actual church. I know I wore orange for some reason. Not this. I'm a gamer. I've never been a sports person at all, and I don't even know of the time where there was a match of StarCraft or League of Legends in a big arena that was one where people rioted and started tossing cars. Maybe we'll see it in our lifetime, but I don't know. I don't think so. Story 4. Some MLM schemes. When I was a cable installer, MLM people were my worst fear, way more than religious people. One lady spent the entire 4 hours at her house trying to convince me. After 4 hours, I still was not entirely convinced I understood what they sold. I'm pretty sure they sold self-help books, but the self-help books were made solely to help you sell more of the self-help books to sell more self-help books. A scam within a scam within a scam. Want to be a millionaire? Starting at just $500, you can get tickets to my limited-time in-person Millions for You seminar. The seminar is cheap hors d'oeuvres and handing out pamphlets that say, find 2,000 suckers to buy some BS at $500 a pop. You get those ones that are about selling gold, for instance. They talk about gold price, steady investment, etc., and never been a better time to have gold. Then they throw that all away and tell people the way to make money is sign up for people. Hang on, what about the gold? No one involved in these things seems to pay attention to the product just being a prop, whether it's gold or self-help books or health drinks, etc., to sign people up. Does it not just occur to them that it's not businesses operating? Want a Starbucks coffee? Forget that. Get 4 people that do want one, and they get 4, but no one is drinking coffee. On the flip side, I also love it when the speaker says, "All your dreams will come true," with the same enthusiasm as, "The combo comes with a free drink." Man, had a guy pitch their pyramid scheme to me, and he had a binder full of pictures of nice cars, houses, hot women, pictures of laughing families. I didn't even know what the hell they were selling. Just kept telling me this could all be yours if you give them $300 and find 2 more to join. I would love to see someone at a restaurant say the combo comes with a free drink with the same enthusiasm as someone excitedly telling me all my dreams will come true. Just absolutely frothing at the mouth, excited over fries and shakes. I'd tip them $50 every time. I think it's a byproduct of American consumerism and bad teaching by pastors. They'll take passages that say one thing and not fully elaborate on them. One of the prominent ones is Matthew 7:7. Obviously, we won't be given something if it'll be bad for us, and tithing/giving with an exception of receiving in return means you're giving with wrong intentions. It trains people into thinking that if they give or do good, then good will happen to them. If bad things happen to them, then it's because they aren't doing enough. Ecclesiastes destroys this idea. In fact, so does Job and Proverbs. Philippians 4:19 is another verse that's used in the prosperity gospel. It's just picking singular verses or chunks and ignoring the rest of the Bible or who Jesus is. That's my opinion, at least.
Please like and subscribe if you made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day.
Story 5. Mommy groups. Started getting completely out of hand when my kids were teenagers. I'm a crunchy mom. I'm this kind of mom or that kind of mom. Those people get rabid. How dare you listen to advice given to you from a doctor about your individual child? My group thinks this. Heresy. Blasphemy. We will crucify you. They used to be helpful. Now they're frackin' cults. The group stuff mom groups say might fit you. Don't forget the ones that are just, "Teehee, alcoholism is trendy," with the whole, "I'm a wine mom. Look, I snuck wine to the park. I'm not a wino, I'm a wine mom. I'm not an alcoholic, but my kids make me drink, and I post online about how my kids are the reason I drink." Like, holy hell, there's a lot of merch for that, including ones for kids that say, "I'm the reason mommy loves wine. I'm the reason mommy drinks." How fracked up is that? Edit to add. Since some people think I'm being overly harsh, moms need more support in ways to cope with the stress of raising another human being, because none of us come programmed with that skill. It's a constant learning process, and in a world where mothers are expected to be perfect images, the stress, especially of the last few years, will unalive you if you're not careful. And vices can become harmful. You drink 1 glass after a kid's in bed? That's chill. Or a glass with dinner. But if you're sneaking it in a McDonald's cup or putting your kids in shirts that say they're the reason you drink, or getting so drunk you couldn't function in an emergency, that's on you and you alone, and you need to get some help. It's okay to get help. What's not okay is teaching your kids that you resent them in some way, shape, or form, and that alcohol is the only way you can cope. There's a time and place for everything, and finding a balance is how we handle stuff like that. To those who had to deal with the awfulness of addiction and your parents, I'm so sorry. You deserve better. I remember a friend of mine with a sizable social media following posting on Twitter during lockdown, basically saying, "Stop posting about having to drink to put up with your kids during lockdown. Your kids are always watching you. They can see that you apparently need to drink to be able to spend time with them." I saw a disgusting post during lockdown where someone went, "Oops, I bought all wine instead of toilet paper, hee hee." And I was not even sure if it was a joke because it looked to be a cart of just wine. Like enough wine to shut your liver down in about 2 weeks. One of those Costco carts. They had kids and frequently posted about drinking because of their kids. Our society as a whole normalizes excessive drinking way too much. Based on the technical terms of what defines alcoholism, way more people are alcoholic than they realize. Story 6. Workaholism/hustle culture. As a reformed workaholic/hustler, I can 100% attest to this. 70 hours a week isn't hard. It's unhealthy. Hell, I'm about to start working like this. Just tired of being broke and finally got a position at a job I have the option of working that many hours at. Would you say it's even possible to balance work and life at that amount of hours? Long term? No. In the meanwhile, Make a plan so you're not working like this forever. Budget/savings, meal prep, chores. Even schedule downtime for yourself that you do not compromise on. That last one may seem silly, but it's important. Get outside sometimes, see the sun. Don't vanish from friends and/or family. Use your vacation time. Use your sick time. And remember that sick leave also includes mental health, not just fevers. Agreed. I know so many workaholics who worked so much with their spouse and kids no longer remember who they are due to how many hours they spend in the office and not willing to go home. Before meeting these people, I always thought that people joke about these things as a way of telling others to not work so much and to have some resemblance of a work-life balance, but I guess these people exist. What's hustle culture? The idea that free time is bad, basically. Work hard at your regular job, then go home and work on your side hustles. Some people push this as the only way to really be successful. My view is the opposite. Lots of free time is good. Very good. My current job is a good example of this. I work in management now, but even before that, my boss started upping people's pay and giving more time off. He realized that well-rested workers who have more time and ability to handle things during the week were more productive at work because they'd actually like their jobs. We're talking 4-day work week and 3.5 weeks of paid time off a year. 1.5 weeks of that is obligatory for the holidays, and he shuts down during that time. But everyone still gets paid. Maybe this isn't the most vacation time depending on where in the world you are, but with that extra day off during the week, everyone's doing all right. And you know what happened? Everyone realized they'd rather be paid decently with time off than work 97 hours a week for chips to hope that they'll make it rich. So we're all doing fine. Again, it's a reason why I love freelancing and working from home. I can set my hours. I don't have a very overly oppressive work schedule, and I have time to myself, and I have time off even when I'm working. I have personal time. Definitely, work-life balance is a good thing. Story 7. K-pop. Yeah, it honestly rivals even more than just other music-based fandoms too, in my opinion. I can't understand being obsessed with your favorite group or band or whatever, but this takes it to an entirely new level. I had an acquaintance who was hyped for a K-pop concert. Totally normal, right? But no. She was going off about how this is the perfect outfit to get this guy to fall for her, and they'll have a spring wedding unless he prefers autumn, in which case she would totally compromise. What? She was 19, doesn't speak any Korean, and doesn't want to live in Korea. She's still young enough for people to find it silly and endearing. Somehow. When I was in school, if someone was still going nuts for Bieber or whatever past 16, they def got bullied. As someone who also listens to K-pop, I think this is so true. I think the problem is how big and young the fandom is. And also immature. K-pop fans on Twitter can be so damn annoying and are constantly joining fan wars or pushing people to buy more, stream more, etc. On the other hand, I've made some online friends, most of them in their 20s, and they're chill people and we talk about everything, not only music. Also because it's not our personality. It's just something we enjoy. To be honest, I struggle with toxicity also among metalheads. And while I can kinda excuse teenagers for their behavior, seeing a bunch of whole-grown men bragging about their musical taste as if it's their personality is just sad. At the end of the day, I stick to listening to what I like, whether it be metal or K-pop, and don't really care about fandoms. Story 8. 420 culture. I say this as someone who smokes weed. I see so many jokes about the time 420, but no one ever says anything about high noon. Holy hell, that's genius. I always liked 840, twice as high. I can't act like I invented that. I saw it in High Times magazine. I own a dispensary, a grow, and a processing lab, so cannabis is essentially my life, and I don't take it as seriously as some people. Some people are way too into the culture, like to a weirdly fake point where their whole personality is just, I smoke weed, look at me. I can't stand people who treat smoking weed as their sole personality trait. The worst are the ones who treat it like it's a cure for anything. Feeling a bit down? Just smoke weed. Got cancer? Just smoke weed. Slit your jugular? Just smoke weed. I like when you say smoking weed makes you anxious, other undesirable traits, and they have a whole speech of how you're doing it wrong somehow. Story 9. Fish, as in Phish. Thank you for recognizing this. I tell this to my friend all the time and she laughs, yet she'll sleep in a ditch if she could get to the venue earlier and get to meet the band. Fish fans are absolutely nuts. I live about 10 miles away from an amphitheater they'd perform at every year, and it wasn't unusual for the line of cars to extend to my house. Fish is one of those bands that sells a lifestyle, not just music. Other notable mentions are the Grateful Dead and Jimmy Buffett. Jimmy Buffett. Parrot heads. I got dragged along to a Buffett show with my ex's dad, and it was hilarious. Just a bunch of middle-aged drunks getting down while wearing wacky Hawaiian shirts and outfits. Story 10. Influencers. When Charlie D'Amelio got famous, oh my word, did my little sister worship the ground she walked on. Charlie was all she ever talked about. OMG, did you see the new video Charlie posted? Sis, Charlie liked my comment, etc. She finally grew out of it, but it drove me insane. Same thing with my brother, completely awestruck with anyone who is famous. Hopefully he grows out of it soon. Story 11. In India, cricket. And Pakistan. My cousin's wife threw her phone and nearly smashed it today in the Sri Lanka versus Pakistan match when a Pakistani guy didn't catch the ball. That was hilarious. I barely watch cricket. I barely know the players' names. But man, they missed it twice, and their own teammates crashed into each other. Top entertainment. Story 12. Homeopathy. Essential oils, too. The Young Living fans versus the doTERRA fans are crazy. Aren't those both MLMs as well? Well, that's what I was going to say. I believe in it, so it works. Yeah, that's religion, not medicine. Story 13. Brands in general. People praising Adidas, Apple, Hugo Boss, etc.
Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.